feel like I'll train live and be fine.
What about this one? We should teach him this one, this, and then what you do, you get your, like, oh!
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm Andrew, this is Aggie. We're here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom. And today we're gonna look at passing the butterfly guard with a body lock pass sequence. One of my favorite body lock pass sequences. There's a lot of variations of the body lock pass and how you can go about it. There's front body lock passes, side body lock passes. There's 2-on-1 shins, there's half guard variations, there's full-on butterfly step over variations. Today we're gonna look at getting to a 2-on-1 shin scenario, which I think is really powerful, a lot of control. I'm gonna show you how I like to go about doing that. We're gonna talk about the body lock itself, the entry, what can go wrong and how to fix that. And then when you're doing body locks and you're working with body lock passing, that does not mean your hands need to stay locked the whole time. That's actually kind of a silly thought process. Like, what other aspect of jiu-jitsu do you think that way, right? Your hands do not need to stay locked the whole time you're doing body lock passing. You can transition between body locks with locked hands and tight waists, and locked hands, tight waists. You can go back and forth depending on what's happening, depending on the scenario, and depending on the defensive process of your partner or opponent. So we're going to talk about all that and hopefully make your butterfly guard passes and your body lock passing sequences a lot stronger. You don't need to just use body lock passing for butterfly guard. It works really well from half guard variations. I would just suggest against it if you're in full guard. Don't lock your hands around somebody's body in full guard, but other variations of guard, it's a really good idea and it's super powerful against butterfly. So when we're here in front of our opponent and they get into butterfly guard, one of the first things I like to do is get people on their back. If I can just pass from here, like hop over or pin a leg, that's great, but against good people, it's gonna be really hard, right? And also to get my arms inside is gonna be really hard because they're sitting here with knee to elbow connection, their hands in front of them, they're looking at me, they see all the things I'm trying to do, so it's gonna be really difficult just to dive my arms inside. Sometimes you can, but it's gonna be hard from here. So what I wanna do is get a reaction out of this person. So I'm just gonna try to knock them down. So as we're doing our hand fight, I'll get one hand inside, and one hand on the neck, and I just push them to make them post here. That opens up a big gap here, opens up a big gap here. They need to come back and react. They can't just stay over there, right? So as I push them onto their hand and they start coming back, that's where I can dive inside and look to get my hands locked around the body, right? Now, when we go into locking our hands, one thing, I like to keep my forehead up on the shoulder so I can really affect her body and push her down. I don't want my head down here. So I keep my head up. And when I go to lock my hands, I like to have a long arm, short arm. You can lock with your hands in the middle, but a lot of times that'll put all their pressure right on your locked hands. And it does hurt. It'll hurt your hands, especially if you're a fighter and you hit things and your hands are already kind of beat up. It's not gonna feel very good, but it also hurts them a lot. So it's like, who's winning that pain threshold battle? Probably me with my locked hands, knuckles right under the small of their back, but it can stifle my ability to move on to other positions with their weight just laying on my hands, right? So I prefer to go long arm, short arm. I also prefer to go long arm, short arm for the process of the pass. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So I get this reaction, I dive inside, I get a long arm across her whole waist. So I'm wrapping this arm as deep as I can, and this arm's just going short. Right, I'm not reaching this arm too far around. I'm just connecting my hands. I like to go S-grip here. And now here's where a big mistake is made. A lot of people will come forward. In my position, they'll start coming forward. And if I walk forward, it's very easy for her to sweep me with butterfly sweeps, right? Because for me to come forward, my hips are gonna come up off my heels, my center of gravity is gonna come up. So if I just start coming forward, she can easily just sweep me over and start to come on top and dominate the position. So what I need to do first is pull her butt to her heels, right? I pull her to me first. Then I'll take a couple choppy little steps forward, okay? So I get my reaction, I come in, long arm, short arm, and I get my hands low towards the hips. And now look, I do this first. Now when I take choppy steps here, they're not able to lift me. Try to lift me with your legs. Her legs, all the strength of her legs is dead right now. because of the anatomically, if your foot goes past 90 degrees towards your hips, the quad shuts off. So this is what I'm playing with now, just this anatomical weakness. Okay? If she tries to lift me or elevate me right now, if she feels so weak, she's like, I can't even start my quads. And we all know that feeling if you ever squat and you get down in the low like astergrass position, you're kind of in that sticking point. That's what that is you're past 90 and it's really hard to engage the quads. Right? So that's what I'm playing with here. Now that I get here, I want to get both of my legs on one of her shins. Right now, both of her left leg controls my right leg and her right leg controls my left leg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right knee to the center to bring her left foot to the center, and I sprawl my left hip all the way to the mat. Okay, so I'm still staying tight here, sprawling my left hip to the mat. That just took her right hook off of my left leg. Okay? And now I'm going to bring my left knee in the direction of my right knee. So as I bring it back in, I now control her shin, one shin with both of my legs. I have a 2-on-1 shin scenario. Okay? And this is really powerful for me and I like it a lot. Now another reason, this is what I was talking about earlier, why I like to have this long arm, short arm, is because in this scenario now, I can get my elbow on top of her thigh. This is also a scenario where I was talking about you don't need to keep locked hands all the time. Okay? If maybe her thighs are super big and strong, or my arms are really short, or some scenario where I can't get this up on the thigh, it's okay to unlock, keep a tight waist, and press my elbow down on the thigh. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this. This is still a body lock passing sequence. Okay? I prefer to keep the hands locked if I can, but if I can't, this is fine. So I go here, and I press her knee to the mat. And now it's quite easy to step up and over. I go to my toes, and then I bring my knee down in front of her thigh. As I do that, my head's going to change directions. Here. Okay? Now this is also where I see people make mistakes. I'm here. Leg out. Bad spot, but she still has the ability to do some things, and one of the main things that I find people do is they try to stuff my head, right? So when I'm in this scenario, I don't have a full pass yet. I still haven't pinned. There's no side control, there's no mount, there's no back, there's no real pin yet. I'm still down at the level of the hips. I have to work my way up, right? So when I'm here, this can get troublesome, because if she can scoot her hips away and get her legs back in, now she's going to start recovering. Okay? So as she pushes my head, I'm going to take this outside arm and go between her arms here. And now I start running my hips around her head here and block into north-south. And once I make my way to north-south, I know I have a really dominant position. North-south, in my opinion, is the hardest pin to escape. It's so difficult. And if you're good at it, there's Kimuras, there's all sorts of north-south chokes, guillotine options that come out of that, different attacks you can get into, back attacks and arm bars and sequences, so it's super dominant, right? So let's watch the leg work from a different angle. So if we're more facing the camera like this. Okay, so again, I get her to post. That's what I want, is that little post right there. And now I can dive both my arms inside, here, making a long arm, short arm. Also, if one of her arms gets caught inside my arms as I'm going for the body lock, that's even better for me. Now she's pinned with one arm she can't fight with, right? So if I come in and I lock, like say this arm comes back inside here, and I lock this arm inside my arms, that's okay with me. Now she has one arm to fight with, right? So again, I get this reaction, dive inside, lock my hands, pull her to me first, then a couple little choppy steps. Now look, I bring my right knee center, sprawl my left hip down to the mat, killing her right hook. And now I bring this knee back through to go 2-on-1 shin. Elbow on the thigh, pressing it down, stepping over, switching head position. Scoop her leg away. My left knee to my left elbow, pinning her. she's gonna start fighting. As she pushes, I chop through, walk north-south, pinning her hips here, stabilizing, and now I can get into all my work for Kimuras and arm bars and back takes and north-south chokes and what have you. What?
Worked out some of my hair.
Did I have anything else I wanted to add to that?
Did you want to try a different, this side completely? Okay.
So yeah, as far as passing the butterfly guard goes and using body lock passes, this is one of my favorite sequences, right? A lot of different things can happen. A lot of defensive structure can come into place. But when I'm passing against really flexible people, this is the type of thing I like to do. When I'm passing against good butterfly guard players, I like to put them on their back, pin their heels to their butt, and start the process of my pass. Long arm, short arm has always been more effective for me because then I can use that short arm elbow to pin the thigh and get to work. Once you get the pass, you get both of their legs on one side of your body, you're still at the level of their hips. They're probably going to be pushing on your head. Look for that north-south. North-south pins are so dominant and they're really, really, really hard to escape, right? So yeah, try that against your friends if they're playing butterfly guard. Try it from half guard. Anytime you can get your hands locked around the body other than closed guard, you can start working different variations of body lock passing. And don't forget, it's okay to separate your hands and go tight waist body lock throughout the process of the pass, right? So try it, let me know how it goes. Throw some comments down in the comment section if you have any questions about the motion or anything you want to see in the future. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Again, I'm Andrew. This is Aggie. We're here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom. And yeah, go try it.